Dear learners, today in this session, we are going to look into Sustainable Development Goals, an overview. After having, in the previous this session, we have looked into how sustainable development, sustainability science emerged as a new discipline in the academic world. And then we will have looked into the need for sustainability science education in India, and how Indira Gandhi National Open University started sustainability science courses during the last 4 or 5 years. The resolution adopted by the United Nations General Assembly on 25 September 2015 is a document transforming our world, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, and we call this Sustainable Development Goal 2030. In its report, in the preamble, it is written that this agenda is a plan of action for people, planet, and prosperity. It also seeks to strengthen universal peace in larger freedom. The SDG have 17 goals with 169 targets. Will stimulate action for 15 years, for over 15 years. Already we have crossed 5, it's going to be 5 years, already crossed 5 years in areas of critical importance for humanity and the planet. When we look into the plan of action for people, planet, and prosperity, we need to understand another additional 2 pieces, that is peace and partnership. We need to have a determination to end poverty and hunger for the people in all their forms and dimension, and to ensure that all human beings can fulfill their potential in a dignity and equality in a healthy environment. When we talk of the planet, the determination is to protect the planet from degradation, including through sustainable consumption and production, sustainable management of its natural resources, and taking urgent action on climate change, so that it can support the need of the present as well as the future generation. And for bringing prosperity means to ensure that all human beings can enjoy prosperous and fulfilling lives, and that economic, social, and technological progress occur in harmony with nature. We need to foster the peaceful, just, and inclusive society which are free from fear and violence. There can be no sustainable development without peace, and no peace without sustainable development. We need to follow the partnership to mobilize the means required to implement all these 17 goals through a revitalized global partnership for sustainable development, based on a spirit of strengthened global solidarity, focused in particular on the needs of the poorest and the most vulnerable. And that's also with the participation of all countries, all the stakeholders, and all the people. If you look into the 17 goals, we'll find that all the goals are interlinkages and integrated in nature. And the crucial importance of SDGs in ensuring that the purpose of the new agendas are realized. To realize our ambition across the full extent of the agenda, the lives of all will be profoundly improved and our world will be transformed for the better. So, these are the 17 goals you will see, beginning from the poverty, zero hunger, and different goals. Let us look into why these goals, why United Nations bring these goals. Goal number 1, no poverty. That's to end poverty in all its forms everywhere by 2030. More than 700 million people, you can say about 10% of the world population, still live in extreme poverty and is struggling to fulfill the most basic needs like health, education, and access to water and sanitation. These are few of the majority of the people living on less than $1.90 a day, that is identified as a poverty line, they live in sub-Saharan Africa. If you look the poverty rate worldwide, it is 17.2% in rural areas, more than the 3 times higher than the urban areas. Having a good job doesn't guarantee a decent living. In fact, 8% of employed workers and their family worldwide live in extreme poverty in 2018, based on the report of UN. So how to, achieve this? We need to have an active engagement in policy making, which can make a difference in addressing the issues of poverty. Governments of different nations that can help or that should create an enabling environment to generate productive employment and job opportunities for the poor and this marginalized group of people or society. We can formulate strategies and fiscal policy that stimulate pro-poor growth and reduce the poverty. The private sector, as you know, it is an engine for economic growth, needs to play an important role in determining whether the growth it creates is inclusive, and hence it can contribute to poverty reduction. It can promote economic opportunities to the poor, focusing on segments of the economy where most of the poor are active, namely on micro and small enterprises and those operating in the informal sectors. As an academic and an education community, we have a major role in increasing the awareness about the impact of poverty. Science also provides basic foundation for new and sustainable approaches, solutions, and technology to tackle all these challenges of reducing poverty and achieving sustainable development. The second goal is on zero hunger. We need to end hunger, achieve food security, and improve nutrition, and promote sustainable agriculture. Extreme hunger and malnutrition remains a barrier in bringing sustainable development, and it's also related to poverty. Hunger and the malnutrition means less productive individuals who are more prone to disease and thus often unable to earn more and improve their livelihoods. 2/3 of extremely poor employed workers worldwide are agricultural workers. You can see these and examples across India. So what can we do to end poverty? We can make changes in our own life, at home, at work, and in community by supporting local farmers, because 2/3 of extremely poor employed workers are agricultural workers. So if you want to provide their food to make them proper, to make them to get proper food, to make them free from poverty and free from hunger, at least we can support local farmers or markets and making a sustainable food choices, supporting good nutrition for all, and fighting the food waste. The third goal is good health and well-being. To ensure healthy lives, and promote well-being for all at all ages. Ensuring healthy lives and promoting well-being for all at all ages is important to building prosperous society. At least, half of the world population are still without access to the essential health services. That's suddenly we realize this in the pandemic period of COVID-19, not only in our country, across the globe. What we can do to bring good health and well-being is we can start promotion and protection of our own health and health of those people around us, our family members, our society, our locality, by making well-informed choices, like if you look into like practicing safe sex, vaccination of your children, and others. Then next is goal number 4 is quality education. To ensure inclusive and quality education for all and promote lifelong learning. Education enables upward socioeconomic mobility and is a key to escaping poverty. Education is also essential to achieving many other sustainable development goals, which you will discuss later on. Because education is the will to bring the sustainable development. It empowers people everywhere to live more healthy and sustainable lives. Now it is connected to your third goal. It also crucial to fostering tolerance between people and contribute to more peaceful societies. That one of the important P, that is peace. So what we can do for promoting education, quality education? We can request, we can involve, we can ask our government to place education as a priority, both in policy and practices. If you are in that level where you can do lobbying, then you can lobby your governments to make firm commitments to provide free primary school education to all, including vulnerable or marginalized groups. Even private sector can be encouraged to invest resources in the development of educational tools and facilities. NGOs can also take partnership with youth and other groups to foster the importance of education within their own localities or different local communities in their region. Goal number 5, that is gender equality. To achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. Women and girls represent half of the world population. That means also a half of its potential. But today, gender inequality persists everywhere and stagnates social progress. Women continue to be underrepresented at all levels of political leadership, which you have seen even in our Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and you will see across the different states also in our own country. Even you can see across the globe, women and girls perform a disproportionate share of unpaid domestic work. Then, what is our responsibility on that? If you are a girl, you can stay in school by convincing your parents, then help empower your female classmates to do the same what you are doing, fight for your right to access sexual and reproductive health services. Then if you are a woman, you can address unconscious biases and implicit association that form an unintended and often an invisible barrier to equal opportunity. If you are a man or a boy, you can work alongside women, girls to achieve gender equality and embrace healthy, respectful relationship. You can fund an education campaign to curb cultural practices like female genital mutilation and change harmful laws that limit the rights of women and girls and prevent them from achieving their full potential. Goal number 6, clean water and sanitation. The goal is to ensure access to safe water sources and sanitation for all. Access to water, sanitation, hygiene is a human right, but billions are still faced with daily challenges accessing even the most basic of services. Even you will see this, it is very common in metropolitan city in India and arid and semi-arid region. The demand for water has outpaced population growth, and half the world population is already experiencing severe water scarcity at least 1 month a year. 3 in 10 people lack access to stably managed drinking water service. About 3 billion people lack access to basic sanitation services such as toilets or latrines. In one side, more than 80% of wastewater resulting from human activities is discharged into rivers or sea without any treatment that leads to pollution. Civil society organizations should work to keep government accountable, invest in water research and development, need to promote the inclusion of women, youth, and indigenous communities in water resource governance. We need to generate awareness of all these roles and turning them into action. Then only we will be able to bring win-win solution and increase sustainability and integrity for both human and ecological system. You can also get involved in different activities related to water conservation, like World Water Day, World Toilet Day campaign, that aim to provide information and inspiration to take action on water-related issues, hygiene, and others. Goal number 7, affordable and clean energy. To ensure access to affordable and sustainable energy for all is the major target of goal number 7. Also, a well-established energy system supports all sectors. Energy is the driver of life, as you know. From businesses to medicine and education to agriculture, infrastructure, communication, high technology. Most of all sector needs energy. A country or countries can accelerate transition to an affordable, reliable, and sustainable energy system by investing in renewable energy resources, prioritizing energy efficiency practices, and adopting clean energy technologies and infrastructures. The business can maintain and protect ecosystem to be able to use and further develop like renewable energy like hydropower sources of electricity and bioenergy, and commit to sourcing 100% operational electricity need from such kind of renewable sources of energy. As an employer, we can reduce the internal demand for transport by prioritizing telecommunication and incentivize less energy intensive modes such as train travel, our auto and air travel. An investor can invest more in sustainable energy services, bringing new technologies to the market quickly from a diverse supply base. We can save electricity by plugging appliances into power strip and turning them off completely when not in use, including on our own computer. We can also use bike, walk, or take public transport to reduce carbon emission. Goal number 8 is on decent work and economic growth, that to promote inclusive and sustainable economic growth, employment, and decent work for all. Sustained and inclusive economic growth can drive progress, create decent jobs for all, and improve living standard. Decent work means opportunity for everyone to get work that is productive and delivers a fair income, security in the workplace, and a social protection for families, better prospects for personal development and social integration. It is also important that all women and men are given equal opportunities in the workplace. A continued lack of decent work opportunities insufficient investment and underconsumption lead to an erosion of the basic social contract that underlies democratic societies that all must share in progress. We need to provide youth the best opportunity to transition to a decent job. Calls for investing in education and training of the highest possible quality, providing youth with skills that match labor market's demand, giving them access to social protection and basic services regardless of their contract type, as well as leveling the playing fields so that all aspiring youths can attain productive employment regardless of their gender, income level, socioeconomic backgrounds, social status, and so on. Governments of different nations can work to build dynamic, sustainable, innovative, and people-centered economies, promoting youth employment and women's economic empowerment in particular, and decent work for all. Local authorities and communities can renew and plan their cities and human settlement so as to foster community cohesion and personal security and to stimulate innovation and employment. Goal number 9, with an objective to build resilient infrastructure, promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization, and foster innovation, it's on industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Goal number 9. Economic growth, social development, and in this area of climate change, climate action are heavily dependent on investment in infrastructure, sustainable industry development, technological progress. So we need to establish standards and promote regulation that ensure company and its different projects and initiatives in sustainably managed way. There is a need of collaboration with NGOs and the public sector to help promote sustainable growth within the developing countries in particular. We need to think about how industry impact on our life and well-being, and we need to use social media to push for policymakers to prioritize the sustainable development goals. Goal number 10, to reduce inequalities within and among the countries. We have seen a number of inequalities across the world at different levels. Okay. So reducing inequalities based on income, sex, age, disability, sexual orientation, class, race, ethnicity, religion, and opportunity continue to persist across the world within and among the countries. Inequality threatens long-term social and economic development, harm poverty reduction, and destroys the people's sense of fulfillment and self-worth. This in turn can bring crime, disease, and environmental degradation. Most important is we cannot achieve sustainable development and make the planet better for all its people, excluded from their opportunities, services, and the chance for a better life. Despite progress in some areas, we'll see income inequalities continue to rise in many parts of the world. Reducing inequality requires transformative change. Great efforts are needed to eradicate extreme poverty and hunger, and invest more in health, education, social protection, and decent jobs, especially for young people, migrant, and other vulnerable communities. Within their own country, every country, it is important to empower and promote inclusive social and economic growth. Then only we can ensure equal opportunity and reduce inequalities of income if we eliminate discriminatory laws, policies, and practices. Even among the countries, we need to ensure that developing countries are better represented in decision-making on global issues so that solutions can be more effective, credible, and accountable. Governments and other stakeholders, they can also promote safe, regular, and responsible migration, because migration has become one of the important issues across the globe, including through planned and well-managed policies for the millions of people who have left their homes seeking better lives due to war, discrimination, poverty, lack of opportunity, and other more drivers that leads to migration. Goal number 11 that talks about sustainable cities and communities. So to make cities inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. Cities in the metropolitan area are powerhouses of economic growth. It contributes about 60% of global GDP. However, they also account for about 70% of global carbon emission and over 60% of resource uses. So we need to take an active interest in governance and management of our own city. We need to develop a vision for our building, street, and neighborhood, and we need to act on those visions. The question comes is that whether are there enough jobs in our cities? Can your children walk to school safely? Can we will be able to work with our family in the night? How far is the nearest public transport? What about environment and quality, like air, water? Then when we create a better condition in our community, it will give a greater and an effective quality of life. Goal number 12, which is very important for ensuring sustainable consumption and production patterns. Economic and social progress over the last century has been accompanied by environmental degradation that is endangering the very system in which our future development and our own survival is depending. If we do not act to change our consumption style, production pattern, it will cause irreversible damage to our environment. There are two main ways to help. We need to reduce our waste and being thoughtful about what we buy and choosing a sustainable option whenever possible. Reducing our waste can be done in many ways, from ensuring you don't throw away food to reducing your consumption of plastic, one of the main pollutants of the ocean, carrying a reusable bag, refusing to use plastic straws, recycling plastic bottles. These are the good ways to do with our everyday life. Then we need to, if we follow the informed purchase decision about what we are buying, that would also help. For example, textile industry today is the second largest polluter of clean water after agriculture. And many fashion companies exploit textile workers in developing world. If you can buy from the sustainable local sources, you can make a difference, as well as exercising pressure on businesses to adopt sustainable practices. Goal number 13, that's on climate action, to take an urgent action to tackle climate change and its impact. Taking urgent action to tackle climate change and its impact, for that, you have to cut this. As greenhouse gas level continue to climb, climate change is occurring at much higher rates than anticipated, and its effects are evident worldwide. By addressing climate change, we can build a sustainable world for everyone, but we need to act now. Then goal number 14, that talks about life below water, for conserving and sustainably use the world's oceans, seas, and marine resources. For open ocean and deep areas, sustainability can be achieved only through increased international cooperation to protect vulnerable habitat. Establishing comprehensive, effective, and equitably managed system of government, protected areas should be pursued to conserve biodiversity and ensure a sustainable future for the fishing industry. On a local level, we can make ocean-friendly choices when buying products or eating food derived from oceans and consume only what we need. Selecting certified product is one of the good options to start with. Making small changes in our daily lives, like taking public transport, unplugging electronics, save energy, this action reduces our carbon footprint factor that contribute to rising sea levels. We should eliminate plastic use as much as possible and organize beach cleanups. Most importantly, we can spread messages about how important marine life is and why we need to protect it. Goal number 15, that life on land. To sustainably manage forests, combat desertification, halt and reverse land degradation, hold biodiversity loss. Inevitably, we change the ecosystem we are a part of through our presence, but we can make choice that either affirm diversity or devalue it. Something we can do to help, including recycling, eating a locally based diet, that is sustainability at source. Consuming only what we need and limiting energy use through efficient heating and cooling system. We must also to be respectful towards wildlife and only take part in ecotourism opportunities that are very responsibly and ethically to run in order to prevent wildlife disturbance. We need to manage protected areas and to support healthy ecosystem, which in turn keep people healthy. It is therefore critical to secure the involvement of local communities in the development and management of protected areas. Goal number 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. For the promotion of peaceful and inclusive societies, provide access to justice for all, and build effective, accountable, and inclusive institutions at all levels. People everywhere need to be free of fear from all forms of violence, and they need to be feel safe as they go about their lives, whatever their ethnicity, faith, or sexual orientation. In order to advance the SDGs, we need to effective and inclusive public institutions that can deliver quality education and healthcare, fair economic policies, inclusive environmental protection. Take a genuine interest in what your government is doing. Let us raise awareness in our community about the realities of violence and the importance of peaceful and just societies, and identify how we can pursue the SDGs in our daily life. We need to exercise our right to hold our elected officials to account, exercise our right to freedom of information, and share our opinion with our elected representative. Let us be the change, promote inclusion and respect towards people of different backgrounds, ethnic origin, religion, gender, sexual orientation, of different opinions. Together, we can help to improve conditions for a life of dignity for all. The last goal, that is goal 17, that the partnership for the goals, to revitalize the global partnership for the sustainable development. In 2015, world leaders adopted this agenda for sustainable development to be achieved by 2030, that aims to end poverty, tackle inequalities, and combat climate change. We need everyone to come together, governments, civil societies, scientists, academics, the private sectors, for achieving the sustainable development goals. We are all in together. The agenda with its 17 sustainable development goals, it is for universal. And it calls for action by all countries, both developed countries and developing countries, to ensure no one is left behind. In this session, we have learned about the 17 sustainable development goals and why the SDG 17 goals are needed for a sustainable planet or global sustainability. Thank you. We'll meet in another session. Thanks.